From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday led the distribution of various government assistance to more than 2,000 beneficiaries in the municipality of San Jose, Occidental Mindoro Province. These include 11 units of pumps and engines from the Department of Agriculture or DA, 2 units of combined rice harvesters and 4-wheel drive tractors from the Philippine Center for Post-Harvest Development and Mechanization or PhilMech, 1 unit of 62-footer tuna fishing boat, 6 units of 18-footer small boats, 7 units of fish aggregating device, 8 units of marine engine, 1 unit of chest freezer with containers, 35 sets of bottom set gill nets from the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources or BFAR, and 2 units of small-scale composting facilities from the Bureau of Soils and Water Management. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Ako mabuti naman at nabalik ako dito dahil hindi talaga pagka nakakatanggap ako ng mga report ay talagang malakas ang tama ng El Nino dito sa lalawigan ninyo. At yung iba, yung pinanggalingan namin ay nakita namin talagang tuyong-tuyo. Kaya nandito kasama rin natin, hindi umakyat sa stage, nandyan ang National Irrigation. Ayan, si Eddie Guillen, tiga amin po ito, pero siya nailagay natin sa irrigation at marami po tayong plano. Meron tayong pinaplano ngayon na dam na ilalagay para makuberan hanggang San Jose, Magsaysay at mapatubigan na. Para naman kahit mahina ang ulan, ay meron pa tayong makukuhanan ng tubig. Ito sa pamamaraan ng dam at magbibigay din tayo yung tinatawag na solar-powered pump. Ito po ay mga bomba na may solar na hindi na kailangan ikabit sa kuryente. May solar siya, may sarili siyang pinagkukuhanan ng kuryente. At ito, mabilis lang ito, hindi masyadong mahal. Maraming magdadala po kami rito para mapatubig na naman. Dahil alam naman po natin sa ating mga magsasaka, ang punot dulo, lalong-lalo na pagkapalay ang pinag-uusapan, ang punot dulo nitong lahat ay patubig. Kasama siyempre yung ayuda, kasama pa siyempre lahat ng mga ibang inputs. Ngunit kahit kompleto lahat ng ating urea, yung ating fertilizer, kahit kompleto lahat ng pesticide natin, kahit kompleto ang ating mga farm equipment, pagka mahina ang daloy ng tubig ay mababa pa rin ang ani. Kaya yun ay babaguhin natin. Ito po ay aming ginawa. At kung titignan po ninyo, dinaanan po rin natin yung kadiwa doon sa kabila. Makita po ninyo, ito po ang aming ginagawa upang tumulong. At ang tinatawag namin dito is the whole of government approach. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng pamahalaan, lahat ng iba't ibang departamento ng pamahalaan ay sabay-sabay na tumutulong. Hindi lamang DA, hindi lang Department of Agriculture dahil pinag-uusapan nga ang mga pagsasaka. At ngunit kasama na rin natin ang iba't ibang mga kalihim ng iba't ibang departamento upang sila lahat ay makipag-coordinate sa local government. Nandito si Vice Gov, nandito si Mayor, para magsama-sama at maging maayos ang pagdala ng tulong sa mga nangangailangan. Kaya kasama na rin natin na kasama natin silang lahat para makita nila kung ano yung pangangailangan dito. Patuloy din po itong aming ginagawa. Yung kadiwa naman ay aming ginagawa para meron mabigyan ng pagkakataon ang mga lokal na ipagbili ang kanilang mga nagawa, kung ano man, mga produkto nila, ay meron silang pupuntahan para maipagbili nila yan. Kasama na dyan yung tulong ng pamahalaan at yung mga mas mura na agri-products na pagkain, lahat ng bigas, pati isda, pati may nakita ko sa kanina, marami ng asin dito. At binubuhay namin na industriya. Lahat po ito ay sama-sama upang makatulong. At kailangan namin tulungan dahil talagang wala tayong magagawa. At napakainit at hindi na umulan. Kailan ang last time na umulan dito? November pa siguro. Mga ganun. Ilang buwan na yun, maglilimang buwan na nang walang ulan. Kaya hindi lamang dito, pero sa buong Pilipinas, yan talaga ang naging problema. Hindi lamang ang Pilipinas, kundi ang buong Asia. Ganyan din ang mga problema. Kaya sinama ko na lahat ng mga secretary, cabinet secretary ng iba't ibang departamento na makita nila kung ano talaga ang pangangailangan, kung ano ang kailangan gawin at para ma-implement kagad ang mga tulong na ibinibigay sa inyo. Nandyan po ang DOH, nandito ang DOH, may MAIP, yung DOLE, may TUPAD, ang DSWD, merong ayuda, at marami pa pong iba. Ang DA, meron daw pinag-uusapan namin doon sa mga iba't ibang lugar na kahit anong gawin natin ay wala talagang tubig, walang tumutubo, ay bibigyan natin, meron tayong programa sa crop insurance. So baka makabawi tayo ng kaunti doon at ibibigay natin sa ating mga farmer para naman meron silang hawak na pera para naman sa mga pangangailangan nila dahil wala talaga silang tanim, wala silang ani, napakahirap naman pagka talagang masyado silang gugutumin. Kaya po kami nandito upang bigyan ng tulong ang lahat ng nangangailangan dito sa gitna ng nararanasan natin na El Nino. Asahan po ninyo na ang pamahalaan po ay ang national government, kasama ang ating mga legislator, kasama po ating mga cabinet secretary, kasama po ang ating local government, pinagkakaisa natin lahat yan upang gawin lahat ng kailangan gawin. Lahat ng kaya namin gawin upang tumulong sa mga tinamaan nitong El Nino at sa iba't ibang pang problema. At yan po ay, kaya po ginawa po natin yung kadiwa para hindi na po kayo kailangan pumunta sa opisina ng regional office o kung ano man, pati LTO meron dyan, pati DOH meron dyan, pati yung sa DOLE meron dyan, DTI nandyan din. Nagbigay tayo ng counting tractor at saka yung mga iba't ibang gamit para sa post-harvest facilities at saka sa mechanization ng ating mga farmer. Kaya po asahan po ninyo na ito po kami lahat ay sabay-sabay na gumagalaw para tiyakin na kahit papano, kahit na tayo ay naghihirap dahil sa pagbago ng panahon at nararamdaman natin yung climate change na tinatawag, ay asahan po ninyo, nandito po kami upang gawin ang lahat ng kayang gawin ng pamahalaan, kasama ang local government, kasama ang inyong congressman, kasama lahat para tumulong sa taong bayan. Yan po ang aming serbisyo po sa inyo at huwag po kayong mag-alala. Hindi po kami nagsasawa na magserbisyo. Kami po patuloy tayo. Kahit pag-alis po namin dito, tuloy pa rin ang pag-monitor namin para tiyakin na wala namang maiwanan. At siguro alam na ninyo, ang aking pangarap para sa administrasyon na ito ay wala nang gutom.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines and Qatar further strengthened their bilateral relations, signing on Monday 9 new deals including agreements on addressing climate change and human trafficking. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Emir of Qatar, on Monday witnessed the presentation of the newly signed deals in Malacañang. The new deals are as follows: the agreement between the government of the Republic of the Philippines and the government of the State of Qatar on the waiver of visa requirements for holders of diplomatic and special or official passports. A Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, between the government of the Republic of the Philippines and the government of the State of Qatar on cooperation in the field of sports. A Memorandum of Understanding between the government of the Republic of the Philippines and the government of the State of Qatar on cooperation in the field of youth. An MOU between the government of the Republic of the Philippines and the government of the State of Qatar on cooperation in combating human trafficking. An MOU between the government of the Republic of the Philippines and the government of the State of Qatar on technical cooperation and capacity building on climate change. An MOU between the government of the Republic of the Philippines and the government of the State of Qatar in the field of tourism and business events. An MOU between the government of the Republic of the Philippines and the government of the State of Qatar on mutual recognition of seafarers' certificates. An MOU between the Philippines Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Qatar Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and an MOU between the Davao City Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Qatar Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Qatar's Emir was in Manila for a 2-day state visit upon the President's invitation. In his opening message for their bilateral meeting, President Marcos said he is hoping that their discussions will translate to stronger collaboration in common fields of interest. For his part, the Qatari leader underscored the importance of the Philippines as a trade partner. The Emir also praised the Filipino community in Qatar for their valuable contribution to the Arab nation's development. The Philippines and Qatar established diplomatic relations in May of 1981. The Arab country hosts some 270,000 Filipinos and is one of the top destinations for Filipino migrant workers in the Middle East.
Dateline Malacañang.
In a related story, the Philippines and Qatar on Monday signed a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, strengthening the two nations' growth in tourism and business events. Department of Tourism, or DOT Secretary Cristina Frasco, and State Minister of Foreign Affairs His Excellency Sultan bin Saad Al Moraiki signed the MOU before President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and Qatar Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani at Malacañang Palace. The MOU is one of the agreements exchanged during Qatar Emir's state visit to the country. Secretary Frasco defined the move as a wealth of opportunities for growth as both countries explore new avenues for collaboration. Under the MOU, the Philippines and Qatar will work toward encouraging tourist flows into each other's country. It is also expected to solidify both countries' intent to encourage tourism investments, promote familiarization visits for media and tourism experts, and further skills development of operators, employees, and specialists in tourism through seminars and specialized training. Latest DOT data show the country has received 10,438 visitor arrivals from Qatar in 2023. Visitor arrivals have reached 3,784 from January 1st to April 20th this year. In terms of business events, both countries have agreed to promote exhibitions and conferences attractive to tourists, promote cooperation between other relevant exhibitions and conferences, organizing agencies, encourage exchange of organizational experiences in the field of business events, encourage familiarization visits in the field of business, exchange legislations and regulations, and provide possible logistical support at the international level for hosting exhibitions and international conferences. A joint working team between the Philippines and Qatar will be formed to establish the work program and execution and evaluation of the activities in line with the implementation of the agreement's provisions. Frasco noted that the DOT has worked towards strengthening Muslim-friendly and halal tourism offerings to cater to the needs of Muslim visitors. Last June 2023, the Philippines was awarded as the Emerging Muslim-Friendly Destination of the Year at the prestigious Halal in Travel Global Summit 2023.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, on Monday lauded the Filipino community in the Arab nation for its contribution to the progress of his country. In his message during his bilateral meeting with President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. at Malacañang Palace in Manila, the Emir praised the Filipino community residing in the state of Qatar and their effective contribution to the development and progress in the country. Qatar is a second home to nearly 243,000 Filipinos. In 2022, remittances to the Philippines from Qatar amounted to $895.33 million. Formal relations between the two countries span 43 years following formal establishment on May 5, 1981. President Marcos and his cabinet officials welcomed Sheikh Tamim. Sheikh Tamim and President Marcos witnessed the signing of several agreements and memoranda of understanding that will further strengthen the relations between the Philippines and Qatar and increase their communication. President Marcos said his discussion with Sheikh Tamim will translate into stronger collaboration in common fields of interest.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has named retired Court of Appeals or CA Justice Melchor Sadang as the new chairman of the Presidential Commission on Good Government or PCGG. The Presidential Communications Office or PCO announced Sadang's new designation in a social media post on Monday, along with the latest batch of appointments made by the President in at least 13 government agencies. Under the supervision of the Department of Justice or DOJ, the PCGG serves as an anti-corruption agency tasked to investigate graft and corruption cases of public officials and institute measures to prevent unlawful practices in government. Sadang served as a CA magistrate from 2011 to 2017 and a presiding judge of the Cavite City Regional Trial Court from 2000 to 2011. Sadang was one of the five-man committee that led the government's massive investigation into the alleged drug links of third-level police officers last year. Aside from Sadang, President Marcos also appointed Charlito Martin Mendoza and Domini Velasquez as Undersecretaries of the Department of Finance or DOF, Asis Perez as Undersecretary of the Department of Agriculture or DA, and Jesus Nathaniel Martin Gonzalez as Undersecretary of the Department of Transportation or DOTR. Noah Dimaporo and Alexandra Lamontad were appointed Collector of Customs 6 under the DOF's Bureau of Customs, while Gilbert Souza was named acting chair and member of the Board of Directors of the Development Bank of the Philippines or DBP Data Center Incorporated. Also included in the list of latest presidential appointees were Alexandria Luis Carino, Director 4 of the Office of the President under the Office of the Special Assistant to the President for Investment and Economic Affairs, and Manuel Barrios, regular member of the Supreme Court's Legal Education Board or LEB, representing the Philippine Association of Law Professors, while Voltaire San Pedro will serve as LEB's regular member representing the Philippine Association of Law Schools. President Marcos also designated Eduardo Sagil as member of the Board of Directors of the DBP, Martin John Yasay as Deputy Commissioner of the Insurance Commission, Ava Arcos as member of the Social Security System Board representing the workers group of the Social Security Commission, Salma Angkaya Kuhutan, Mohammed Dimaporo, Annalisa Flores, Catherine Magana, Maria Cristina Malab, and Ronaldo Tepora were named members of the Board of Directors of the Al-Amana Islamic Investment Bank of the Philippines. Based on the new set of presidential appointees, Ethel Valenzuela was tapped as Commission on Higher Education Commissioner, Rose Marie Arenas as a member of the Board of Directors of the Manila Economic and Cultural Office, and Dalyalin Dait Cod as Director 4 of the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples. Meanwhile, Bienvenido Niles Jr. was named member of the Philippine Racing Commission as representative of the Racehorse Owners Association, Eric Arevalo as Director 3, and Claire Aznar as Provincial Agrarian Reform Program Officer 1 of the Department of Agrarian Reform or DAR, Elia Mitra as Foreign Service Officer Class 1 of the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA, and Grace Baluyan as Assistant Secretary, and Raymond Panjon as Director 4 in the Department of Trade and Industry. Completing the list of newest appointees were Nathaniel Arevalo, Deputy Director General of the Intellectual Property Office, Gregorio Montenegro, member of the Home Development Mutual Fund Board of Trustees representing the private employees, Raymond Fel Sahor, Director 3 in the Department of Labor and Employment, Godwin Hernandez, Chief of Medical Professional Staff 2 of the Veterans Memorial Medical Center, and Roberto Zozobrado, General Manager and/or Chief Executive Officer, member of the Board of Trustees in the Department of Tourism, Philippine Retirement Authority.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Private Sector Advisory Council, or PSAC, presented to Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. a number of initiatives to significantly enhance the country's digital infrastructure and create 1 million digital jobs. Among discussed in the meeting is the expected training for 10,000 digital civil servants projects that aims to improve the government's capacity in delivering digital services. According to the PSAC, Civil Service Commission, Private Sector Jobs and Skills Corporation, Ayala Group, SM Group, National University, and Mapua University is scheduled to sign the partnership agreement. The project will start by sending 40 participants to Singapore and will eventually become leaders and teachers once they return to the Philippines. This is in response to the directive of President Marcos to create 1 million digital jobs until 2028. Meanwhile, the PSAC is also preparing their proposal to create a nationwide digital connectivity following the commercial agreement model to build additional digital infrastructures.
Dateline Malacañang.
Both the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, and the United States Armed Force will showcase their state-of-the-art assets in the upcoming Maritime Strike live-fire exercise on May 8th at the La Paz Sand Dunes in Laoag City, Ilocos Norte Province. Among those the AFP will boast is the Jose Rizal-class guided missile frigate, including the Sea Star anti-ship missile system, as well as the multi-purpose attack craft, which is armed with Spiker ER surface-to-surface missiles. Also to participate in the exercise are the FA-50 light jet fighters of the Philippine Air Force, which carries air-to-ground Maverick missiles, and the A-29B Super Tucano close air support aircraft. Also included is a Cessna 208 surveillance plane, Hermes 900 long-endurance unmanned aerial vehicle, and different artillery systems from the Philippine Army and Philippine Marine Corps. For its part, the United States will show off its AC-130 gunship, P-8 Poseidon maritime patrol and reconnaissance aircraft, MQ-1 Predator remotely piloted aircraft, M9 Reaper unmanned aerial vehicle, and Mach 2.0 capable F-16 jet fighters. The highlight of the said exercise is a scenario wherein the target will be a decommissioned naval oil tanker. The drill is part of the 2024 Balikatan exercises, which runs from April 22nd to May 10th. Some 16,000 troops are taking part in the annual drills, 11,000 American soldiers and 5,000 Filipino troops.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines, United States, and French Navy is scheduled to conduct a 10-day multilateral maritime exercise as part of the Balikatan Exercise 2024. According to Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP Public Affairs Office Chief Colonel Cerces Trinidad, the activity will be conducted inside the country's exclusive economic zone, or EEZ, in the West Philippine Sea, or WPS, starting April 25th. Vessels participating in the exercise will depart the province of Palawan and will sail within the 200 nautical mile EEZ. Among the Philippine vessels that will participate in the exercise is the BRP Davao del Sur and BRP Ramon Alcaraz. Meanwhile, also scheduled to hold a bilateral sail is the BRP Ramon Alcaraz and the French Navy on the 30th of April until the 3rd of May as part of the Balikatan exercise.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, extended assistance to overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, affected by the flooding in the United Arab Emirates, or UAE. Led by the Migrant Workers Office in Dubai, or MWO Dubai, and Filipino volunteers, the group provided financial assistance to affected OFWs at Al Wada in Sharjah, UAE. Around 50 beneficiaries received relief packs containing water, rice, canned goods, noodles, and hygiene kits. Besides this, 300 dirhams or 4,500 pesos were also distributed to the affected beneficiaries. According to the DMW, the agency will undergo another set of relief operations once the list of beneficiaries is finalized. To recall, 3 Filipinos were confirmed to have died during the height of the heavy rains and flooding in UAE.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAGASA, on Monday recorded the highest temperature in the city of Puerto Princesa in Palawan Province. In the highest heat index released by PAGASA, the heat index in Puerto Princesa reached 46 degrees Celsius, which is considered to be in the danger level category. Besides Puerto Princesa, 25 other areas in the country registered dangerous levels of heat index to as much as 45 degrees Celsius. Among these areas were Aborlan in Palawan Province, Virac in Catanduanes, and Zamboanga City in Zamboanga del Sur Province, while other areas recorded 42 to 44 degrees Celsius. The Ninoy Aquino International Airport, or NAIA, in Pasay City also registered a heat index of 42 degrees Celsius, and 40 degrees Celsius was recorded at the Science Garden in Quezon City. Meanwhile, PAGASA said around 25 areas in the country on Tuesday will experience heat indices of dangerous levels, including Metro Manila. According to PAGASA, the highest heat index will possibly reach 45 degrees Celsius in the city of Rojas in Capiz Province, as well as in Zamboanga City, Zamboanga del Sur Province.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, we would like to invite everyone to come and visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.